Welcome back to Main Station. So in this video I'll be going over the Canadian MG sector, or just for stocks mostly, for tickets, and let's get to it. So first of all, we have CGC right here, and there are some patterns I'd like to look at and to show you, which could be playing out. So first of all, I will look at recent price action, and this is basically the breakout we had of this falling wedge on later last year, 28th of December, I think, about early January maybe, and quite nice, very nice bull run, around 70% gains. So very much much opportunity in that aspect. And if you look at it more closely, I hope you don't hear my roommate stirring up things in the background. But anyway, if you look at it more closely, then we can see we are in some sort of equilibrium. We basically have higher lows and haven't really made lower highs. So this is interesting. It looks more of a rising wedge. You could draw a trend line, and then you would say, oh no, we broke it, we have now a retest, and we would basically drop down. I would not do that for the simple fact that you don't always have to use trend lines in your analysis, and in this scenario it would just be advisable, or it would be more advisable to stick with the principle of higher lows and lower highs. So we have not broken higher lows on the hourly and not on the 4 hour, and also on 50-minute. So this is still a bullish uptrend, and since price is climbing higher and finding more resistance on the top side of this pattern, you would usually think that it would break to the upside. So this would be also the most likely scenario in my opinion, and it would be a break. We had a high right here compared to this. So if we activate our pivots, then, and if we go to the 50-minute, then you can see we broke up to we broke out by point or by 34 cents. So this is, in my opinion, not significant, and I would not take this too serious. Also, or 35 cents, whatever. You would basically look at this as a double top, and since we haven't broken down after this double top, this is usually a bullish indication. Yet what has me doubtful is our resistance. We will most likely receive at 46.71. You can see it right here, this trend line right here. Also the reason why I drew these arrows, I drew them, I think, back right here. I don't know. You can look at my latest videos on CGC and so forth if you want to know when I drew them. Most likely around like right here, maybe after this pump. I don't know. But anyway, we could reach back up, find resistance right here, and come back down. I don't know if it's likely that we will reach 36%. If we look at the Fibonacci, I think it won't tell us too much. If we say that we find resistance up here, it would coincide with the 0.5 retracement mark, so it could happen that we come back down right here. But most likely in the bullish uptrend, in the real bullish uptrend, we only retrace by around 33%, and come back up then but this is for the future to decide, and I think Fibonacci won't be our main indicator right here. So I would stick with support and resistance. I actually think that if we break out of this pattern and this wedging formation, then, or if we break up, I mean, then I think the resistance of this top won't be too significant, and I actually think that we will break through. So although I do these arrows, this has been before this pattern formed. So I thought that we could move parabolic up right here and then just come back down, and this would have been the most likely scenario. But since we are in consolidation mode, just below these levels, I think we will break through them, and this would be quite significant actually, and it would indicate a trend reversal, since if we look at the daily, this would be the breaking of lower highs, and we will then look back up to our all-time highs of 59.25, and after that we will, I think, most likely break them and move back up. So in the short term it looks quite bullish to me. Yes, we are extended on the RSI and in general on the ADX too, so you should be cautious. And this could also indicate that we maybe really find resistance at 46.74 and come back down to maybe to this level of support. It will also coincide maybe with this trend line we had right here, so this would be interesting. Maybe we will find support back here. The red arrow right here is just an indication that if this is bearish, then we will break this level too and then move back down right here. But I think this is likely, since this has been quite parabolic and a very nice move. Depends on what the S&P and the stock market in general of the United States does. So of course they are correlated in some aspect, although we have seen quite nice moves. Usually disregarding the S&P in the Canadian sector, or at least in the Canadian marijuana sector. So yeah, and what I also wanted to show you is what is one problem with using trend lines, and I'll deactivate this pivot points. So if we could draw a trend line right here, connecting this low right here we had of this bull move, and then connect this low and this low and this low, and basically this would call some sort of this top right here, which you are now finding heavy resistance at, and this would basically mean that we have been in an rising wedge, which has broken. Also, it has broken not too insignificant, so it's okay. You can see we had a gap down below the trend line and a move back down to these lows. So this is interesting, and we are now finding resistance up here. So you could say that this is a significant trend line. This would mean that we have been in a rising wedge, and this would only be a retest, and we would now see a retracement after this retest. Does this mean that we can't move back up? No, it definitely does not. And I think that although the touches of this trend line look quite nice to me, I think it is not what first most traders look at, and second what should be looked at, in my opinion. But you should include this too in your analysis, and it's one of the problems of using trend lines, since although you should be connecting highs and lows, it still can be quite subjective which lows and highs you connect, although they might be significant in some sort of way. So yeah, this is CGC, and I don't know if I would like to enter a trade after breaking. If we just move to the 15 minute again and activate our pivots after breaking 4519. I don't think I would like to enter a trade just because of this resistance line of this high right here. I would like to enter a trade maybe if we break 4671, but even then I think I would not like to, since we are very extended on the RSI on a daily. And I would like actually to see maybe it break out. I find a retest of this level and of these levels right here, and then I would like to enter a trade. And yeah, but that is in the future, and I will keep you updated on this. So moving to IIPR, and I think I haven't mentioned this yet. I should be looking at this for for a few months, and it has been moving quite nicely. I've drawn like 4 trend lines. They do not are in similar distance like you would use or like you would have at a pitchfork. So like this. You can see it does not coincide too nicely, so I didn't use it. And also, using a pitchfork here, in my opinion, does not work too well. So I've drawn these trend lines, and you can see quite nice touches along these lines. And these are intermarket price trend lines, so they are not too significant, but still quite interesting. And the price is actually respecting them, I think, quite nicely. So you could look at them, and we are now like in the mid section of these lines and finding now resistance at our all-time highs, but we are nicely finding resistance, and we are actually consolidating. So this is bullish in my opinion. And if you look at the forearm, maybe I think it's a bit more clear. Yeah, you can see we are finding our higher lows, and would look actually to break these levels quite soon. On the RSI, we aren't too extended on the 4 hour, but on the daily, I think it's okay. We are actually cooling off a little bit, so this is nice. And yeah, if we break if we activate our pivots again, if we break 5563, then most likely we will see a nice move to the upside, since this would be a blue sky breakout, and we would have all-time highs. So you can very well enter up at these levels and trade maybe to these, most likely to this line right here around 62.12. I don't know if this will happen in one move. I think it could happen that we break out, and I'll go to the 4 hour for this, that we break out, and I'll draw just real quick breakout out of these levels, touch this trend line, then we come back down, retest these highs, and then move back here. And this would be actually, I think, maybe a bit more, or a bit nicer to enter after like moving, I think, like maybe around 10% and to the upside, or maybe like more like 7% to the upside, to enter when we retest these highs. So you can either enter while this breaks, maybe exit right here, and enter back and enter again at a retest. I would not exit right here. I think it would be very well, or it would be a nice trade to keep your entry position, and maybe add a retest. But yeah, so this would be a nice trading scenario. All-time highs are always quite easy to trade, in my opinion. And yeah, if we move to CRON, then actually we have now seen all-time highs on CRON. So this is, as you might know, bullish. This trend hasn't been respected too much. We are actually finding a bit of resistance right here. This is interesting. But as you can see, we are at all-time highs just on this day. We have moved, I think, around like 8% in at all. So this is interesting. And if we look at it, yeah. So I think our next stop would be if we retest either these highs right here. If we don't, then we could look we could look to move back up to this trend line, find resistance again, and then come back down, maybe consolidate around this area, and this could look at like this breakout. I'll consolidate around here, come back down, and then move back to the upside. If this is bullish, but since I think we are in a bear flag on the top, I think we most likely will test this level at some point, but we will come back down. And you can see it's not too nice, our volume on this breakout, so it looks maybe like a fake out, and could be a trap. So you want to be cautious, and you don't want to enter now. You want to wait a little bit, and if we go to the hourly, you can see it looks a bit like an indecision candlestick. Yeah, so you want to be cautious, and I would not enter a trade right now. I would wait for some time. It's okay on the 5 minute. We are consolidating, but since we haven't seen very nice volume, you can see our volume has actually been on the downside. Right here, our highest volume, not while this has broken out. So yeah, you want to be cautious, and this could be a fake out. And you could enter a bearish or a short position up at these lows if you find resistance right here, and trade this back to the downside and make some very nice gains, actually around 50%, so, or even more. Yeah, so this would be our short-term outlook for CRON. And just looking real quick at TLRY, yeah, we have been in this falling wedge, which has broken with CGC, but we have actually just almost lost all our gains from this move. So we are now also finding support, maybe again around this level. This has just formed the edge, so I'm not too sure if this is actually finding support. You can see we are on the downside of this candle, so I would be cautious, and we are actually quite near our yearly lows, so you want to be especially cautious right here. And if this doesn't find support right now, then we will most likely look at our lows of 63.17, or if we activate our pivots again, then it's more exact, of 64.16. And well, if this breaks, then we will look most likely at this gap, and after that right here around 33 or 34.13. So TLRY doesn't look bullish to me, in my opinion. We could